Well, greetings and welcome to the Dividing Line. You will notice that Rich has been playing around again. Instead of two microphones down here, now we have one here. And we used to have one up here. And every time we get one of these new gadgets, it's the best thing out there. It's always the newest and the best. Until something else comes along. And I understand. I have my foibles and weaknesses. They mainly have to do with bicycling stuff. And a closet full of cycling shoes and enough jerseys to wear one every day for a year almost. They do collect over time because every time you go in a race or something, the big races, it's part of what you buy. And I never throw. I figure, hey, I might have some use for it someday. It's in perfect shape, and Anyway, same thing with gadgets, and I'm not sure how many microphones are hidden in various corners of the office, but now I've got a new one, and it doesn't have the shield stuff, and it's just got a plain old pop thing, but. Somebody want to mark down the day and see how long until the next best thing comes along. We had that purple one. Well, it was black, and we had the same one for a long, long time.
Well, I think like 10 years. 10 years probably. Yeah.
And it was a fixture, it really was. But it was before we started doing this stuff. So, anyways, and now you have one too. That's. Nice.
I actually have one that isn't laying on the table because the mount broke.
Yes.
So, even though
that's the one that used to be in here.
Yeah, but this stand is temporary because I gave you my stand. That's what you're looking at in there. It's a perfectly silent stand. And if you think back, talk about reusing things, that is the original stand that we used when the office and the broadcast booth was at my house, and that was mounted to the top of your desk. That is the original stand. It endures.
And why do you say it's perfectly silent?
Because moving around. The springs make absolutely no noise.
Well, the springs are covered in some sort of...
Felt. The springs have felt on them.
Yes.
So it is a perfectly silent boom mic.
I'll
mic
bet
stand.
you anything is not perfectly silent. There's nothing perfect in this world, so.
Move it around. Get used to it.
I'll see.
Get comfy with it. Oh,
there.
Stop that.
Anyway, there you go. New stuff. I don't know if y'all listened to the briefing this morning, but someone in channel a couple days ago said that they hesitate to listen to the briefing anymore because it depresses them so badly every morning. And I understand. I get it. I wish we could do just positive stuff. But it's the world we live in, and adults are not always looking for their safe space. But at the same time, it does make you run to the Psalter more often, or Isaiah, or one of the minor prophets or something. In fact, this morning, what Dr. Mueller was talking about was we were talking about a couple things, but one particular quotation was from, this is the United States Commission on Civil Rights, April 18th, 2016. He said, "Someday we will look back upon this document and this particular line as a watershed date." And once again, all of this illustrates the fact that, you've heard it before, elections have consequences. Well, but aren't elections representative of either the progress or degradation of a society? I mean, isn't having a presidential election every 4 years? I mean, think how much has changed just in the past 4 years. think how much the leftists in our country are saying openly today that would have been an automatic destruction of their position or their possibility of election only 4 years ago, let alone 8 years ago. So, elections have consequences, but isn't it really sort of just a delayed illustration, a delayed illumination of where the society as a whole has gone in that preceding period of time? Seems to me. And for example, in this statement, we know that the Obama administration has brought what would have once been identified as radical leftists into positions of power. Well, unless something really crazy happens this summer, which could happen, this has been one of the craziest political seasons ever, so I don't know. But as far as I can see, unless something really wild happens, such as an indictment of one of the two parties' candidates, and I don't even know that would necessarily change anything, to be perfectly honest with you. I really don't, honestly. I mean, there was a day when that would have been it, but to be honest with you, as I look at people today, as I especially look at millennials, I think for many of them it's like, okay, state secrets, gave them all to the Russians and the Chinese. Does it really matter? You know, I'm more concerned in forcing everybody to use the same bathroom. You know, that's just. I think it's far more important that 45-year-old men should be able to undress in front of 13-year-old girls than anything about the state secrets of the United States, stuff like that. That seems to be where a lot of the millennials are today. Their priorities are